read the fifth report. This lab's origins go back more than 30 years. In an era when Japan enjoyed strong economic growth, this lab was built by certain men. Exactly who commissioned the construction of the lab remains unknown. Indeed, that individual has almost certainly passed on. Whatever the source, over 1 billion yen was invested in this lab, and the money kept on flowing. Mikazuka Lab was built in a deserted area near Taito Institute of Technology. Officially, it was always positioned as one of Taito's many postgraduate labs. The research conducted at Mikazuka Lab explored the very nature of humanity in a new way. The ultimate goal of this lab was to create and control human life, in other words, to play God. The areas of study were extremely disparate, but they all fell under the one euphemistic umbrella: Integrated Human Development Studies. The research was incredibly valuable, but occasionally it would cross ethical lines. Under a policy of absolute secrecy, they would recruit the most brilliant students. Most of the students had neither family nor relatives, which meant that even when they died, there was no one who would cry for them. That seems a weirdly informal way of putting it in like this kind of a report. This made them more likely to spend more time in the lab, focusing on the research. Moreover, it helped prevent any fear of information leaks from the lab, and should one of the students bothered by their conscience betray the lab and its secrets? Well, the solution was simple: just make it so that they never existed. Remember, these people had no one who would cry upon learning of their death. There was no bereaved family to cast out upon the lab's official version of events. Which means me as Asumi Kamijo working at this lab must have not had any family either. The IHDS research was not done in response to requests from the military or the like, and not all of the research conducted was unethical. The desire to know our origins, to create and control others, is a uniquely human trait. I believe that all humans want to understand the structure of humanity. This is not a noble or cerebral drive. Rather, it is something that is driven more by instinct. As evidence of this assertion, Mikazuka Lab experienced almost no dropouts. Students here were so devoted to their research that crossed ethical lines, myself included. I do not believe that the students should be blamed for their ethical violations. They are simply doing what most of us would do in their situation. No, the blame lies with others. It is the purpose of this thesis to clarify where that blame lies. Yeah, I was taught that this thesis is just like revealing all the secrets of the lab so that she could like, I don't know, like save people there or something. Chapter 2. Additional remarks about the thesis. My research as a student of Mikazuka Lab is detailed in the latter half of this report. My research has yielded revolutionary results. It may even change the world. This achievement belongs to me alone. In addition, though, I will also accuse those in the lab guilty of the crime of murder. This program and this room are locked by my voice print. Until the day I'm ready to make my accusations public, no one can see it but me. The voice recognition systems responds not only to my voice, but also to my free will. Even if I am captured and made to unlock the door, the program will not respond. To erase the fifth report, one must erase the hard disk, which means that, together with the details of the crimes, my research will also be erased. Those who wish to learn of the achievements of my research cannot erase it. Should my intentions be found out and I am killed, this fifth report will remain. That means even if I die, there is a ray of hope. Chapter 3. How I Learned the Truth. I was raised as the daughter of Takehiro Mikazuka, professor of this lab. I was also assigned to this lab as a research student, and the master's course officially. My father forced me to choose this path, but even without him, I would have done so. I have always known I was a scientist. I have been one since the day I was born. I know how science has enriched the lives of humans and how many lives it has saved. I also know that truly revolutionary research often fails to win society's approval. I understood that the research of my father and his students conducted what was truly necessary. Even research regarded as heretical in its own time may prove invaluable in the future. Most of the time, it is too late to start researching when people need the technology. We loved science and the people of the world. That served as our ethical code. Until that day, I knew nothing, but I was proud to work on such advanced research. I was devoted to my mission. Until that day, the day I went to the basement. It was almost as if I was tempted by an evil spirit. By chance, I found out where my father put his ID card, and my curiosity got the better of me. I opened the door to this basement, into which students were prohibited from venturing. There were layers of steel doors. The whole thing was unlike anything else in the lab. In the back of the basement, I found a dead woman. Her body dried up and sealed away. My mother, right? When I saw the body in the queer side of the room, I intuitively knew what was happening here. Then I felt someone standing behind me, trembling with fear. My father, Takehiro Mikazuka. He looked like he didn't know what to do with me. I think the choice I made that day was the right one. I accepted all I saw there. Then I asked my father if I could conduct research in the underground lab myself. Thereafter, it became usual for me to go down to the basement and work there. I will write about my research, why it received the lab's approval, later on. While I carried out my research in the underground lab, I also investigated the lab's past. I found out how many children died, I messed that up. I found out how many children born to Tamiko, a surrogate mother, had died while still very young. I discovered that clones had been born as a result of certain experiments in this lab. One such clone still lived. Born from a specially manipulated zygote, he had Werner syndrome. He was named Shinichi. I couldn't find any information about Tamiko, but I knew she gave birth to many children. After she gave birth to the last child, she was worn out and died, filled with resentment. I did some research into the last child she gave birth to. The child's genes were identical to those of a genius scientist, long dead. In other words, this child was born as the clone of that extraordinary scientist. Tamiko's last child, the clone of the scientist, is me, right? Yeah, her name is Asumi Kamijo. I am the last child. For my mother, Tamiko, who gave birth to me and died unhappily, I decided to write this 5th report. Now that I know the secrets of this lab, Aso and the others regarded me as dangerous. The only reason I am still alive is because my research is valuable to them. But my betrayal of them may be discovered at any time when I could be killed. There might not be a chance to give this 5th report to the relevant parties. Chapter 4. Past Crimes and Criminals. Yozo Aso, the former Minister of Education, was behind everything that happened. Takehiro Mikazuka was the one who accepted money and continued the research. This was before I was born, some 22 years ago. Recently, clone technology has earned more acceptance. At that time, though, even animal cloning was abhorred, let alone the idea of cloning human beings. The principle of cloning technology wasn't difficult. The technology existed even back then. The implanted fertilized eggs which had their genes manipulated into a surrogate mother. Many clone children were born. Among them, only Shinichi and I still survive. However, records suggest that they made many more children from the two sets of genes. One female and one male set. As for what happened to those other clones, I do not know. There was another person who was an assistant 22 years ago. He knew all the facts and was heavily involved in all the experiments. Tomiko, surrogate mother. So many children were born to satisfy intellectual curiosity and died so young. Some of the researchers never knew the truth and yet were killed to keep the lab secrets. Unless the hammer of justice is brought down upon Yozo Aso, there will still be more victims. What Aso is currently getting the lab to do, and what Assistant Professor Haibara is up to now. The lab secretiveness has meant that I do not know the answers to these mysteries. But if I don't let the world know about this lab, it will continue to be a danger to the innocent. Chapter 5. What to do with this report. Even if this fifth report is made known, Aso will suppress the truth with his great power. He might even pressure the police department. The hope is that the media will expose the truth and the public will force an investigation. At this time, I may no longer be alive, but Shinichi will be available to testify. I hope Mikazuka Lab and Aso will be investigated, and the world will learn the truth. While he has Werner syndrome, Shinichi is aware of the truth behind all of this. The first step is to secure Shinichi's safety and allow him to tell his story. His evidence should prove the allegations contained within this fifth report. I pray that Yozo Aso and others will be brought to justice by good people. I also pray for those poor souls who have died in this place, that they may rest in peace. Acknowledgements. As is customary at the end of the thesis, I would like to thank those who have helped me. Sorry, 1 second. Coughing on, if you can hear that, but my voice is weak. All of those students in this lab were pure-hearted in their desire to help the world. Most of them were unaware of the possibility that the research could be misused. Among the students, Mr. Sheena helped me a lot. In his own understated way, he was very kind. He took care of me on several occasions. I often felt him keeping a gentle eye on me. Maybe he had an inkling of what I was going to do. I remember that Mr. Kakizaki almost found out about my mission. Had he known my secret, I know he would not have handled it. I'm glad he never knew. They and younger students who will come later are all pure of heart. Their only fault is their naivete. All of them have ambition and wish to produce research that will help the human condition. If they are accused as a result of their document, I want it to be known that they are blameless. I am stuttering all over the place. I want to mention Takehara Mikazuka, my adopted father, who both created and raised me. He committed a serious crime and must pay for his actions. I know that he regrets his actions. A man of science, he lost sight of his own moral compass. My father is a pure scientist, but he is also a weak man. It is an indisputable fact that he did as Aso told him to do, and that is a terrible sin. But it is also a fact that he raised me well. He taught me the love of science It is the love of science he taught me that makes me unable to forgive the lab. Forgive what the lab has done. I am losing my mind, I'm sorry. And now I'm writing this thesis. It's quite possible that I owe all I am to him. When he talked about science, about his research, he was so passionate and so gentle. When I found a dead body in the basement and I agreed to cover up his crime, the look I saw in his eyes was not relief but despair. I couldn't look him in the eye. His love for science had driven him to cross the line, and I knew he was ashamed. I felt like he did not want me, his daughter, to make the same mistake. But he is a weak man. He does not have the strength to repent for his sins and come clean. That is why I must do this instead of him. He must be judged. But I want him to know just how hard this is for me to do. When this 5th report is completed, I do not know whether he will seek to suppress it, or whether he will embrace me as my father. Thinking these thoughts here in this gloomy basement and typing this thesis, I feel like I am powerless to resist the binds of fate. I feel like my fate has been determined ever since the day that I was born. Because I am a believer in science, I believe all phenomena can be explained by scientific principles. Indeed, I believe all activity in the universe is explicable by science. However, I believe there is one exception, human fate. That is up to the individual and to God. I do not wish for there to be any more people like myself, whose fate is determined at birth. I want, at least, the curious case of my life to have some meaning. I hope that the publication of this 5th report will make that happen. Asumi Kamijo. Got 5th report? Yeah. Reread the chapter? Is there a no option? That's not the end of the game, is it? Okay, now finish reading. After carefully putting the CD-ROM away, I shut down the computer. The figure of Asumi reappears. Its gaze lands upon another door with the same authentication system. Beyond the door is a staircase. The staircase seems to lead to the area outside the lab. Climb the stairs. And now I just gotta get out of here and tell people about it, right? The sunlight is too bright. I feel like such a long time has passed since Ichinose and I went underground at night. But it's still early the same day, albeit early afternoon. Where am I? You're in the incinerator. I return to the lab. I recall one of the key passages of the 5th report. Repetition. Shinichi, where is he? Werner syndrome? I've never heard of it. Just then, someone emerges from the building. The person is in a wheelchair and is moving fast. Is it my dad? They're gone. Who was that? There is nobody here. No Yumino? Not even the cat. Okay, I thought it would end today. It did not, but I say this every time, but we have to be close to the end, right? Yeah, I'm gonna split that. It's gonna be kind of awkward and lopsided, the recording, but that's okay. It's getting good. I like how this has gone. I like how, dramatic that report was. Like, I don't know what to say. I'm feeling this, though.